Bună seara, doamnelor și domnilor! Ne aflăm în pauza concertului de la miezul nopții, susținut de orchestra Academy of Ancient Music. Dirijor este Richard Egarr, clavecinist, organist, dirijor, muzicolog, un domn foarte plin de energie, pe care l-am alături de mine în această seară. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to Bucharest.
Thank you very much.
We are in the interval of your second concert here in Enescu Festival.
Yes.
You're just about to play the second part of the opera L'Incoronazione di Poppea. When I read the libretto, I got a relief knowing that the society was promiscuous all the time, not only now.
Oh yes,
so,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. It's. I mean, the thing about Poppea, Ulysses from yesterday. That's, in short, Ulysses is about true love and waiting for true love.
Yes.
Penelope waits 20 years for Ulysses to come back. Poppea is actually, although there are some love stories in it, and there is one character who I think is sort of purely in love, and that's Drusilla. But Poppea is horrible. She is manipulative. She's a manipulative bitch. I mean, it's all you can say. And she doesn't care who she ruins, but she wants power. It's all about lust and power, with some love in the background. But so the two operas are kind of complementary in one way.
So the synopsis is like this. We have Poppea. She's the mistress of the emperor.
She is the mistress of Nero, and she wants to get rid of Nero's wife. Basically, as I say, she wants to get rid of anybody who's in her way to becoming queen. That's the plot. So she uses everybody at every level of society to achieve that goal, and she doesn't matter who she tramples on to do that.
I know that you started 2 years ago in 2013, a cycle of 3 years playing Monteverdi's opera. Why did you fall in love with Monteverdi?
This music from the beginning of the 17th century, ever since I've been playing old music, has been very important for me. The group that I first played in at university, when I started exploring the harpsichord, some of the first music we played is the instrumental music from this time, because the beginning of the 17th century was a time of huge change. Music changed from being full of complicated polyphony, which you couldn't hear anything, just all these crazy parts doing lots of different things, to this new idea which created opera, this getting back to a text, a single line, a highly expressive single line accompanied by very simple chordal instruments, a guitar or a harpsichord or a theorbo. So music changed massively at the beginning of the 17th century, and there was a new virtuosity, a new kind of passion and expressivity, very direct, often very direct. And that's the wonderful thing about this early Baroque music. It's just like people. Yes. It reflects how people are. That's what it was trying to do, is to show all of the emotions. And Monteverdi is a genius at that. He wrote the two operas we played in Bucharest when he was in his 70s, so he'd had lots of experience of life. Yes. He knew all about love, life, and everything. And you feel that experience. He could put all of that into the music, but just by notes. It's extraordinary. It's a bit like Mozart, but in a very different style. But it's a very direct style. You can feel the characters getting angry. You can hear the anger. It's very direct and very natural in some ways. Tonight,
actually, Nero is sang by a lady. Why is that?
Again, in the 60s and 70s, when people performed Poppea, Raymond Lepard famously in the 60s, they thought it was essential to have a male singing the role. Of course, at the time of Monteverdi, you had castrati, who were becoming the great singers, and in the 18th century particularly, the men, the prima uomo was often a castrato, so singing at a soprano pitch. So tonight we have Nero played by Sarah Connolly, who is simply probably the greatest Nero around at the moment, and because she has all that power and passion in her voice that you need for that role. She's a great man.
It's not confusing the audience.
Oh well, that's not for me to say. They'd have to vote on it. But no, she is fantastic at portraying that male character. She's had so much experience with that role, and it's fantastic to have her, because she's the great Nero. She really is fantastic at that role.
Well, let's talk shortly about your ensemble, Academy of Ancient Music. I know you're director, 9 years now, I think.
Yes, it's going to be my 10th year soon. Let's have a party.
Yeah, you have a party. Tell me about your idea of working there, because I know it's special.
Well, the orchestra was started in 1973 by Christopher Hogwood, who sadly died this last year. And it was started as a result of the early music movement in England. It was one of the first orchestras in England to really explore old music on old instruments. not the first, but there had been some actually at the end of the 19th century even. But it was one that became very, very successful, had great work done by Christopher. And when I joined 9 years ago, which was, I think, after, we just celebrated our 40th anniversary, so I sort of took over after 30 odd years from Christopher. We all believe, it's the same thing we all believed at the beginning. We believe that any music, not just Baroque, classical, it's a way of thinking. What we need to do and want to do is explore all this musicological stuff, take all this information, try and process it, but in the end it's about performing the music, playing the music, bringing the music to life. Yeah. So it's not an academic exercise. Ultimately, of course, there's a lot of academic exercise before we get to the stage or the concert platform. But the important thing is communicating this music through the use of these old, strange, funny instruments sometimes to people, so that they respond to the music in a active way. It's not this. No, early music is not something you should just put on a CD player and lie back in the bath and think, oh, isn't that pretty? That's not what, well, some early music is like that, but there's always been music for that kind of thing. But something like an opera, Monteverdi opera, or there's so much stuff involved. It's something that the audience needs to engage in, and that's what we try and do. As performers, we try and engage our listener in an active experience.
I know you want to get back to the sources, and I did in my head this parallel with the organic food. Everybody wants now to go back and eat everything that's organic. It costs lots of money. So I think you, going back to the instrument, actually you play on cores that are made out of gut, animal gut. It's a necessity you felt, or it's just it sounds better?
Better, that's a loaded word.
Yeah.
As I say, all of this stuff that we do, and particularly the instruments, they tell us something about the music that was written for them. They show certain, a harpsichord has certain colours that a piano doesn't have. A piano has colours that a harpsichord doesn't have. But the instruments that this music was written for, they show us so much about the colour that's in the music, the kind of intrinsic colour. It's like getting back to what does a strawberry taste like? You go and pick a fresh wild strawberry from a field in the middle of nowhere. That's what it tastes like. So you learn a lot about taste and colour by using these old tools, and that's why we do it. Which is not to say, I mean, certainly 30 years ago there was a lot of purism about it, that you couldn't possibly play Bach on the piano anymore. That's just rubbish. Of course you can, and I do. I play Bach on a synthesizer. But I'm informed by all my work looking at sources and playing old pianos, old keyboards. You learn in your ears. You learn to expect certain colours, and it just makes you richer. It gives you a rich idea when you come to play Bach or Haydn or Mozart on a later instrument or piano or whatever it is. The music doesn't change for me. It's just that I can use what I know to bring those colours as much as I can to later instruments.
We're about to start the second half of this opera, in L'Incoronazione di Poppea. What should we pay attention at?
Just watch the people. It's all about the psychology, and that's one of the great things that Monteverdi can convey in this music. He just knows, and you can see what people in the music. It's all there. It's a little bit like what Bach said about playing his music. All you have to do is play the right notes in the right length, in the right order, and it'll be there. And Monteverdi shows everything in the score. So, and it's all the psychology between the different levels of people that are involved. And Poppea just gets her way, and it's sort of nasty but nice.
Oh, you like it? Come on. Okay, so you're with the Mint people tonight.
Maybe, I don't know.
Thank you so much.
You're
Have
welcome.
a nice evening. Thank you.
You're welcome.